Good afternoon. It's Mrs. Disidore, and I am ready to do day 9 of our third grade read aloud Superfudge. This is our, like I said, third grade read aloud. I just said that, and today is Thursday, April 9th. Okay, so we left off here yesterday with Peter and Fudgy getting ready to go to their brand new school. They've moved to a new neighborhood, and it's been summertime, and so now Fudge is going to kindergarten, and I believe Peter is going into sixth grade. However, they are both in the same school. So we'll see if that causes any problems. I have a feeling it might, especially with Fudgy. Okay. On the day before school started, Alex and I rode our bikes to the shopping center to buy our school supplies. That reminded me of Jimmy Fargo and how we always used to go shopping for school supplies together. I felt really lonely, thinking about Jimmy and scared about what school would be like here. Maybe all the kids would hate me. Maybe I'd hate them. Maybe we'd hate each other. Maybe I'd get a dumb teacher. Dumb teachers are the worst. I should know. I had one in third grade. That night I didn't even try to get to sleep without my crystal. Even so, I woke up about 1,000,000 times during the night. The next morning I asked Mom how she expected me to walk Fudge to school and still ride my bike with Alex. Because Alex told me that all the kids in Princeton ride bikes to school. Maybe you could ride slowly, and Fudge could walk beside you, she said. Come on, Mom. Well, maybe you could walk him until he knows the way by himself. That might take all year, I said. Besides, I want to go to school with Alex. Look, Peter, how about if you just walk him the first week, and then we'll see what happens? I don't think you understand, Mom. Sixth graders don't walk kindergarten babies to school at all. And I don't think you understand how disappointed Fudgy's going to be, Mom said, slamming the refrigerator door. But if that's the way you feel about it, I'll take him myself. Good idea, I told her. But Fudge, who'd been listening behind the kitchen door, shouted, No, I want to go to school with Peter. You promised, he told Mom. You promised. Mom looked at me as if to say, You see? Oh, all right, I said. I'll ride and you can follow me. I'll ride too. You don't have a bike. I have a toddle bike. You can't ride a toddle bike to school. Why not? Because you can't. Now hurry up. I don't want to be late on the first day. Alex was waiting for me outside. We headed for school. Fudge tried hard to keep up with us, running alongside our bikes, panting all the way. We were going really slow, but still, he couldn't make it. We were going really slow. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that. But still, he couldn't make it. I felt sorry for the kid. It wasn't his fault he was just a kindergarten baby. So I scooped him up and sat him on the handlebars of my bicycle, even though my parents have warned me 1,000,000 times never to do that. I think they once knew someone was smashed. I'm sorry, let me say that again. I think they once knew someone who smashed his head open that way. But what they didn't know wouldn't hurt them. Besides, the school wasn't that far, and Fudge really liked riding on my handlebars. He waved to everybody on the street. I'm starting kindergarten today, he sang. Alex, who had no brothers or sisters, laughed. When we got to school, I took Fudge to Mrs. Hildebrandt's kindergarten and handed her Fudge's registration card. Then I went upstairs with Alex to Mr. Bonger's sixth grade. All the kids were singing, Oh, who owns the school? Oh, who owns the school? The people say, Oh, who owns the school? 'Cause we are sixth graders today. I sat down at a desk next to Alex. On my other side was a girl, about 3 heads taller than me, with long, tangled brown hair. Mr. Bonger wasn't dumb. I could tell it right off. I can always tell. First, he told us about his summer. He was an outward bound instructor in Colorado. He taught college kids how to climb mountains. Then we told him what we did over the summer. I would have liked mine to sound more exciting. I would have liked to tell the class, this summer I sailed the Atlantic with just my dog Turtle and my friend Jimmy Fargo. Oh, sure, we had some rough times, but we made it across. Except that Alex was sitting right there, and he knew the truth. He wanted to lie so he could act cool. There were 3 new kids in our class. I was the only one from New York. Another boy, Harvey, was from Pennsylvania, and a girl, Martha, was from Minnesota. Mr. Bonger told us about some of the projects we'd be working on during the year, like building a Viking ship and studying our home state of New Jersey. I wanted to tell him that it wasn't my home state, and it never would be. But before I had a chance, Martha said, "Excuse me, Mr. Bonger, but my home state is Minnesota, so I will be studying that, while the rest of the class does New Jersey." "No, Martha," Mr. Bonger said. "As long as you're living here, you can consider New Jersey your home state." "But Mr. Bonger," Martha said. "Why don't you see me about it after class?" Mr. Bonger said. And he didn't sound angry or anything. Later, I found out the girl who was just sitting next to me, the tall one with the tangled hair, is named Joanne McFadden. I was going to ask her where she lived when a message came over the intercom. "Good morning, Mr. Bonger. Would you send Peter Hatcher to Mr. Green's office, please?" "Right away," Mr. Bonger answered. "Thank you." Mr. Green was the principal. What did he want with me? Joanne McFadden whispered. "What do you do?" "I don't know," I said, feeling my face turn red. "Do you know where Mr. Green's office is?" Mr. Bonger asked. "I'll find it," I said. "Don't look so worried, Peter," Mr. Bonger said. "You can't be in that much trouble. It's only the first day of school." The whole class laughed, except Joanne McFadden. She just gave me a kind of shy smile. It probably has something to do with registration, I thought on my way to office. I'll bet my mother didn't fill out that part of the card about who to call in case of an emergency if parents can't be reached. She forgets that almost every year. Or maybe the principal likes to introduce himself personally to all the new students. But then, why wouldn't he have asked for Henry too? And Martha from Minnesota? Because he calls them to his office in alphabetical order, I told himself, not knowing either Harvey's or Martha's last name. And if he started with the A's early this morning, he'd probably be up to H's now. Yes, that made sense. So it sounds like Peter's a little worried being called to the principal's office. He thinks he did something wrong. "Go right in," said the secretary in Mr. Green's office. "He's expecting you." "You wanted to see me?" I asked Mr. Green. Meet me?" "Hello, Peter." Mr. Green looked something like my uncle, but my uncle is clean-shaven, and Mr. Green had a mustache. Now that my father is growing a beard, I'm more aware of these things. "We're having a bit of a problem with your brother," Mr. Green said. "Oh, so that was it. I should have known. We've tried to get your mother or father on the phone, but there's no answer. So we were hoping you'd be willing to help us." "What did he do this time?" I asked. "A number of things," Mr. Green said. "Come on down to the kindergarten. I'll show you." We walked down the hall together. Oh, lordy, 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 what is Fudge up to? All the kindergarten babies were busy. Some were building with blocks, others were painting, and a group was playing house in the corner. It was just the way I remembered kindergarten, but I didn't see Fudge anywhere. "Oh, Mr. Green?" Mr. Hildebrandt said, limping over to us. "I'm so glad you're here. I can't do a thing with him. He still refuses to come down." I looked up. Fudge was perched on top of the cabinets that were on top of the cubbies. He was stretched out, lying across the top, just inches from the ceiling. "Hi, Peter," he called down, waving. "What are you doing up there?" I said. "Resting." "Come on down." "No, I don't like this school. I quit." "You can't quit," Mr. Green said. "Why not?" Fudge asked. "Because going to school is your job," Mr. Green said. "Otherwise, what will you be when you grow up?" "A bird," Fudge told him. Mr. Green laughed. "Creative, isn't he?" "I wouldn't necessarily call it that," Mrs. Hildebrandt said. Why did he climb up there in the first place, I asked. Well, Mrs. Hildebrand said, that is a long story. Because she's mean, Fudge called. M-E-A-N. Now, Mr. Green, Mrs. Hildebrand said, you've known me for a long time, and I ask you, have I ever been mean to a child? Knowingly, consciously, intentionally mean? Especially on the first day of school? She wouldn't call me Fudge, Fudge said. That's why I had to kick her. She kicked you? I asked Mrs. Hildebrand. She held up her skirt and showed me her bruised shin. And I don't mind telling you, she said, that I was in great pain. I almost passed out right in front of the children. Is that when he climbed up to the top of the cabinet? I asked. That is correct. Because she wouldn't call me Fudge, Fudge said again. It's not a proper name, Mrs. Hildebrand said. And it's not as if he doesn't have a proper name. He has. Farley Drexel Hatcher. I told him that I would call him Farley, or I would call him Drexel, or I would call him F.D. But she wouldn't call me Fudge. All the kids turned around, and suddenly the room was very quiet. That's right, Mrs. Hildebrand said. Fudge is a good name for a candy. It is not a good name for a boy. Oh, boys and girls, I'm going to have to stop here. Come here, Talia. Come here. Come here. This is Talia. Say hi. And she's crying. Did you want Mommy?
Yeah, play by the building.
Do you want me to go play with you?
Yeah, play by the building.
Pirates and fairies?
Yeah.
She loves to play pirates and fairies. All right, so I'm going to have to stop now, and I apologize. Fudge is on top of the cabinet. He won't get down, and he does not like his kindergarten teacher. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Say bye, Talia. Boy. Bye, guys. See you soon. See you tomorrow.